Hey, my name is Silvasy. I'm an extension agent with the University of Florida IFAS Extension in Orange County. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about harvesting your vegetables. So these are some container plants that I have on my in my home garden. They're growing in grow boxes. I have a little bit of kale, Swiss chard. I have some sweet potatoes here in the front. Cucumbers, peppers, green beans, and herb box. And so a couple of things you want to know when you are harvesting your vegetables is it's usually good to use a pair of clippers or garden scissors, and that way you get a clean cut. So for example, for the kale, I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to harvest the lower leaves. Kale is something that you can continually harvest. And if there's a lower leaf that's a little damaged or doesn't look that good, still cut it off and kind of clean your plants as you harvest, and you can just put that in the compost pile. So I'm going to cut it off very close to the base so there's just a little bit left. Don't rip it off because that can hurt the plant. And at the same time you can clean it. So the same thing with the chard. Here I'm just harvesting at the end of the stem right next to the plant, and so I'll just put that here in my little harvest basket. And it's a good idea to keep your harvest off of the ground, so take a little harvest basket or something out there with you. So let me see, if you're going to harvest your sweet potato, this I have just growing in the pot and it's been living a long time, and I just kind of reach in and I'll grab some potatoes when they're big enough. And so the sweet potatoes, you want to wash off the soil and then just keep them at room temperature for a couple days or a week before putting them in the fridge, and this will let them cure and sweeten a little bit. So that I will wash off. Herbs are similar to kale, so like this peppermint here, you know, I just cut it off with the scissors. A little bit of rosemary, and then I'll wash these and then they'll be ready to eat. So if I'm not going to eat them right away, I will put them in a plastic bag, like a grocery bag or something, and this will help to preserve the freshness. So part of a good post-harvest program is to wash and then shake off the water and then put them in a bag and get them refrigerated as soon as possible. It's also a good idea to harvest them early in the morning while they still have the moisture in them, because during the midday right now all my vegetables will be a little wilted, and so you want them at peak moisture, and that's first thing in the morning or in the evening after they rehydrate. So a couple more things for you here. I have a cucumber. So again, cut it off with the scissors at the stem. And I like to get the cucumbers when they're a little bit young. Look for damage. If you do see a hole in it, then try to get the worm out or cut that part off and eat it right away. But you can still eat it even if it does have a little bug damage. So this is going to be a delicious thing for dinner right here. And then I have some green beans too. And the green beans I usually just pick by hand. I just kind of pluck them off with my thumb. And these are baby green beans. So you can wait until they get full size, which is about 4 to 6 inches long. But even the baby green beans are delicious, and I'll eat them raw after I wash them, or put them in my stir fries. So I like to harvest early. I don't like to wait for things to get totally ripe, especially tomatoes, because the squirrels and the other critters can get them. So if I can harvest it a couple days early and eat it, then that's great. Anything that you can eat from your garden is a wonderful thing to add to your diet. And so gardening is such a good way to have healthy and nutritious food. And you can also find foods that you can continually harvest. And these can be, you can make a salad every day, and that includes like the kale here and the Swiss chard and also some tropical spinaches, or you can even harvest some basil and incorporate some basil leaves into your salads. I have a couple other plants like this cranberry hibiscus here, and this has edible leaves. This grows well in Central and South Florida. And I have another tropical spinach here. This is a Suriname spinach, and this also has edible leaves. And so just one more point, when you're harvesting, I just took all of these cuttings, and after I take the leaves off to eat them in my salad, I could regrow some of these plants into new plants. So just pick off the leaves, maybe just leave the top 2 leaves, and then put it in a pot of soil and bury a couple nodes in the soil, and then you can try to propagate more plants from your cuttings. And this will work very easily on the peppermint that you have. You can strip the lower leaves and put it in a pot, and it also works very well on the sweet potatoes. So if you pull up some of the vines when you're harvesting the root, then same thing, just remove some of the lower leaves and then plant it. And sweet potatoes have a bonus because not only are the roots edible, but so are the leaves. So these baby leaves here, you can eat these and cook them in a stir fry, and they're very delicious and nutritious. So thanks for tuning in today, and keep posted for more videos about vegetable gardening.